There are fights that are just unnecessary, wasted efforts. There are just some fights you engage yourself, you lose focus and direction. They are just not necessary. Someone called himself a political activist. And Nigeria has been plunged into a lot of economic relapse. Our people are dying. They are dying in hundreds. We are bedeviled. We are under siege of terrorists. We saw what happened in Plateau. How a lot of people were killed. Then you call yourself a man of the people, a political activist, a freedom fighter. Now, when you see the intensity, the enormosity of what the average Nigerians are going through, was it necessary for you to become distracted or engage in a fight that was so unnecessary? As bLord faulted, yes, in regard to the law, but was it necessary for VDM to start processing the law with bLord? It was just out of focus. It was just self-ego, unnecessary self-ego. If you really claim that you have the people at heart, you would not bother, especially what is happening in Plateau. How a lot of people have been by. You will not have that heart to engage in this unnecessary fight. You would rather let go and focus on that which matters. And secondly, this man has contributed economically, whether you like it or not, to this country. So you engaging him in a battle when you're supposed to engage the government, engage the terrorists, and try to do something about the situation, especially now that we are having series of death tolls. Was it that what happened in Plato does not really matter to you? Was it that it was just a surface heart, thing, not something that comes from the deepness of the heart? I think we should have a rethought. Sometimes the direction of our heart matters so much. Fight for justice. We might all claim that VDM fights over bLord is a fight for justice. I usually say not all fights are necessary. What I will term a fight for justice is when you fight to ensure that people are liberated from the shackles of poverty. The fight of justice is when you fight that terrorism, banditry, that people are delivered. The fight of justice is when you go and you see a woman holding on to her dead child, not allowing to let go, seeing the pain and the travail she has gone through, fighting for justice to ensure that which has happened to that woman, she is compensated. Have you seen the death toll? Some of us go to Plateau and we see the enormosity, the intensity of the cry of the people. I don't know, sometimes I don't know whether we pretend just because we want to gain viewers or followership, or just we want to trend, and at the end of the day somebody is fighting a fight of ego and not a fight of justice. What is the use? What are we gaining? You know, when you write a project, when you want to write a project, there's what we call societal return and private return. So the project you are writing, you are saying that at the end of this project, this is what the society will gain in return, and this is what I am going to gain. VDM fighting bLord is very unnecessary, especially now that each and every one of us are begged evil by terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and economic relapse. How can we start fighting a cause that is out of course? You know, one of the problems of Nigeria, sorry to say, is self-ego. And that's the same problem we are having with government. When somebody comes into power, sincerely, most of our leaders, they have good intentions. But when they get into power, egoism, there's what we call egoism. There is what we also call selfless service or self-denial. There are things you deny yourself. But the problem with our leaders, or the so-called leaders, is that we do not deny ourselves of egoism, self-ego. That thing that is inside of you, that you feel makes you a man. You think it makes you a man. when you serve the people, there should be a self-denial. There should be a sacrifice you must pay. There should not be egoism, self, me, processing the law against bLord was just self-egoism. It was just unnecessary. If you call yourself a freedom fighter, you fight for people, you fight for justice of the people. You will never bother about what bLord is doing to you, especially when you went to Plateau and you saw the intensity, the enormosity, the death toll. It will never occur to your mind and heart to fight that young man they call bLord. But because of egoism, because you have not been able to deny yourself, because you have become like all our leaders that now want to think about themselves. The bLord you are talking about, is it not part of the Nigerians that have contributed immensely to the economy of this country? You're like fighting Dangote. I'm not equating bLord to Dangote, but you're like fighting Dangote. When you want to fight for the betterment of this country, you are fighting Dangote. It's an unnecessary fight. It's like fighting against the development of this nation. I want to tell you, mind you, whosoever intellectually, business or otherwise, is contributing to the economy of this country, no matter what the person does to you, first think of the country. There was something that Abraham Lincoln said: do not think what this country will do for you, but what you will do for this country. See, I'm not a fan of bLord, but with the little I've known about him, he has contributed. He's a young man that has contributed intellectually. He has other young men are leaving this country and traveling abroad. That one say they just travel, but he has decided to be in this country to contribute economically to this country, intellectually to this country. Do you know how many people that young man has employed and taken out of poverty? Fighting him is like fighting the people that feed under him. Sometimes we have to think. Does it mean that what you experienced in Plateau was not a deep-hearted situation that would have made you not to be distracted? When you saw a young woman carrying her child, dead child, crying for justice, it would not have made you to fight an unnecessary fight. It would not have made you, when you see scenario, situation like that, it would not have made you to go and fight bLord. It was just unnecessary and wasted effort. There are things you let go for the sake of Nigeria and the country at large. It was just self-ego. You are trying to show him who I am. So if you are so-called president and the people you lead, that is how you will definitely act towards them. Just self-egoism, unnecessary fight. When we are bed evil, when all of us under the same umbrella, we are going through a very serious torment as a country, and fighting your neighbor under the same roof was just unnecessary. Very unnecessary.